Should the human brain have access to a device with all of the knowledge to have ever existed in the world instantaneously? I'm going to posit, probably not. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and we've got a momentous occasion. We're back to 56 subscribers, and I just wanted to say thank you. I receive no money from you subscribing, but I receive a spark of joy to know that there are people listening to my podcast, even if the majority only listen to about 11 seconds of me rip, roar, and ramble. So if you're tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, enjoy the channel. If you don't enjoy the channel, don't like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a mean comment. People have done that in the past. I've engaged with them. I don't know why. It's fun, but please do. And if you liked it, you just don't feel like subscribing, leave a nice comment. And if you liked it and don't feel like commenting, it's a free internet. I can't stop you from doing any of those things. But like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Anyways, we nowadays have access to more information at more moments of every single day, all the time, than any human beings have ever had access to before in the history of forever. Can you imagine that? There was a point in history where having a library down the street was nuts. The amount of information you could literally go access at the library. And now, in our hands, we have a device that makes the local library look positively Stone Age. Looks like cave paintings. Now, that's not a discredit to your local public library. In fact, you should sponsor your local public library, if for no other reason than the access to books is wildly important, both for the development of the human mind and for the development of the young child's mind. Because, quite honestly, the fact that kids don't read as much anymore is just a crime. It's not because I don't know the science, right? I don't know the science behind reading necessarily, but like the feel of a hardcover book in your hand and the smell of the pages, there's just something about it, something nice about it that you can't get from a phone, you can't get from Audible, you can't get from all these things. Audible is great. My cousin, who has a little, great guy, but a little, that's his kind of quoting him, describing it. Audible is great for him because he has the attention span of a squirrel. But for every kid, they should at least try to read a book. Now, that being said, why am I decrying the access we have to all of the information in the known world all the time at every second? Well, let's take a hypothetical situation. A lot of people have trouble sleeping. What do we do nowadays when we have trouble sleeping? Actually, let's go back a little bit farther. What did we used to do when we had trouble sleeping? What my parents would tell me is pick up a book and read it. And that actually worked a lot of times, not because I didn't enjoy reading. I was a voracious reader. I'm less of a reader now, and I should be more of a reader. But the act of reading the book didn't just occupy your brain and keep you from focusing on the fact that you couldn't sleep. It actively tired your eyes. Your eyes were working, scanning the page, reading left to right, as one does. Or if you were in a different country, right to left, however you read your books of choice. This is not really an international podcast, but if anybody internationally happens to be sitting down and listening, however you choose to read, right to left, left to right, up, down, sideways, whatever. The act of reading tired out your eyes. And the biggest part I find of falling asleep is just getting your eyes to the point of, okay, your eyes and your brain communicating like, we are tired. It is time to rest. Books do that for you. What happens the second you pick up your phone? Sure, your eyes might get tired, but my God, there is so much information on there. I don't know if it's the blue light. I don't know what it is. But the act of scrolling just seems to energize. It seems to add stimulation to your brain that instead of wearing you out, it keeps you awake longer. And part of it is because the second you scroll, you'll come across something disturbing. And what happens when your body comes across something disturbing? it doesn't go into fight or flight mode, but that doesn't mean it's not stressed. Your body does respond to disturbing images with stress. And disturbing doesn't even necessarily mean something like what's going on in Israel and Palestine. So that is quite disturbing, and that shows up in a lot of places because there's protests going on now and everything else. That stuff shows up and it spikes your stress hormones. And your stress hormones, including adrenaline, cortisol, whatever, when your body is stressed, it doesn't say, wow, I'm so stressed, time to sleep. No, it says, wow, I'm stressed, I need to stay awake. I need to stay awake. But let's just think about that during the day as well. You have access to all of this information. And so at random points during the day, you just stress yourself out. Beyond the normal stress of everyday life, you add to that stress the bevy of information available, both accurate and inaccurate. Just because something is fake doesn't mean it doesn't stress you out, especially if you don't know if it's fake. That actually double stresses you out because you might say to yourself, this is probably fake, but what if it's not? Human beings weren't meant to constantly be this stressed out, and information does stress us out. But usually, when we digest information in smaller chunks, we can handle it. It used to be that big time world events really scared the crap out of us, but they didn't happen as often, or at least we didn't have as much information about them as often, right? We were able to have time to process. We don't have any time to process anymore because the second we close that tab that has information about the ongoings in the Middle East, all of a sudden Ukraine pops off and we've got information about that. And all of a sudden, if you're in the US, all of a sudden there's another school shooting. If you're in Great Britain, suddenly there's guys going on stabbing sprees. If you're reading OAN, I don't know, the lizard people are taking over. I don't know what OAN is reporting on. We don't get any relief, and the relief we get is on a much smaller scale. Oh my God, Israel and Palestine are in the middle of a terrible war, possibly a genocide. Big scary words. But I guess this puppy is doing better. The imbalances between the good and the bad is not, the math's not mathing in terms of balancing out your happiness and your levels. But we become addicted to the stress that is hurting us very badly. Our dopamine, which is our happy pills, our brain's natural happy pills, gets tied to the act of the thing that's also upping our stress hormones. Now, this is vague pseudoscience, right? Look this up, talk to people smarter than me about this, but we know that scrolling on Instagram gives us a dopamine kick. But the images we see do not. They give us a stress kick. But because of the dopamine kick from scrolling, we get addicted to the stress. It's not healthy or sustainable, particularly because it messes with our sleep. And while we don't fully understand sleep, I'm sure there are scientists who do, but what we understand about sleep is that our body needs it. The less sleep we get collectively as a society, the unhealthier we get. And there's ways to combat that. And, people are combating that by taking more prescription meds. Hey, there's a problem with that too. We're taking more meds than ever. We're eating worse food than ever. We're exercising less than ever. It's all a mess. And it all comes down to the fact that we're all addicted to these little boxes with all of the information in the world. I'm no better. I'm probably addicted to my phone. Working on it, but it's slow going. My point in all this is spend the time, find something that blocks you out of the phone for a while. Maybe go to your local library, pick up an actual book, and remind yourself of the joy of reading something that you hold in your hand. Or just play some music and just don't stare into your phone for a while. Those are my thoughts. They might be worth something. They might be worth nothing. I should have my actual podcast set up by next week, back up. It's a lot of words. But anyways, I'm out of time. Those are my thoughts. Rock, roll, ramble. If you like them, like and subscribe. If you don't like them, leave a mean comment. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.